Peace. What's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. This is Ron speaking. And today we're going to be continuing in The Way of the Superior Man, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of woman, work, and sexual desire. This will be chapters 11 and 12. Chapter 11. If you don't know your purpose, discover it now. Without a conscious life purpose, a man is totally lost, drifting, adapting to events rather than creating events. Without knowing his life purpose, a man lives a weakened, impotent existence, perhaps eventually becoming even sexually impotent or prone to mechanical and disinterested sex. The core of your life is your purpose. Everything in your life, from your diet to your career, must be aligned with your purpose if you are to act with coherence and integrity in the world. If you know your purpose, your deepest desire, then the secret of success is to discipline your life so that you support your deepest purpose and minimize distractions and detours. But if you don't know your deepest desire, then you can't align your life to it. Everything in your life is disassociated from your core. You go to work, but since it's not connected to your deepest purpose, it is just a job, a way to earn money. You go through your daily round with your family and friends, but each moment is just another in a long string of moments going nowhere, not inherently profound. Disconnected from your core, you feel weak. This empty feeling would undermine not only your erection in the world, but your erection with your woman too. However, when you know your true purpose, which is your core desire in life, each moment can become a full expression of your core desire. Every instant of career, every instant of intimacy is filled with the power of your heart purpose. You are no longer just going through the motions at work and with your woman, but you are living the truth of your life and giving the gifts of your love moment by moment. Such a life is complete unto itself in every instant. The superior man is not seeking for fulfillment through work and woman because he is already full. For him, work and intimacy are opportunities to give his gifts and be vanished in the bliss of the giving. Chapter 12. Be willing to change everything in your life. A man must be prepared to give 100% to his purpose, fulfill his karma or dissolve it, and then let go of that specific form of living. He must be capable of not knowing what to do with his life, entering the period of unknowingness and waiting for a vision or a new form of purpose to emerge. These cycles of strong, specific action followed by periods of not knowing what the hell is going on are natural for a man who is shedding layers of karma and his relaxation into truth. As you open yourself to living at your edge, your deepest purpose will slowly begin to make itself known. In the meantime, you will experience layer after layer of purposes, each one getting closer and closer to the fullness of your deepest purpose. It is as if your deepest purpose is at the center of your being, and it is surrounded by layers of concentric circles, each circle being a lesser purpose. Your life consists of penetrating each circle from the outside toward the center. The outer purposes are often the purposes you have inherited or learned from your parents and your childhood experiences. Perhaps your father was a fireman, so you wanted to be a fireman. Or, in reaction to him, you've decided to be an arsonist. In any case, the outer circles, the purposes you often apply yourself to early in life, are most likely only distant approximations of your deepest purpose. If your deepest purpose is to meditate and realize God, you might find that before you can totally dedicate yourself to this practice, you must work your way through the concentric circles of playing with sexual partners, using drugs, getting married, raising children, developing a career, and finally, having dissolved your fascination and need to do all of that, getting down to the business of full-time meditation. As you dissolve each layer and move toward the center, you will more and more be living from your deeper purposes, and then your deepest heart purpose, whatever that is, in every moment. However, you probably are not living your deepest purpose yet. You probably need to burn off the karma or fulfill the need of the present purpose by which you are fascinated and distracted. It's easy to feel disappointed by life. Success is never as fulfilling as you think it is going to be. But there is a reason for this. Successfully completing a lesser purpose doesn't feel very good for very long, because it is simply preparation for advancing toward a greater embodiment of your deeper purpose. Each purpose, each mission, is meant to be fully lived to the point where it becomes empty, boring, and useless. Then it should be discarded. This is a sign of growth, but you may mistake it for a sign of failure. For instance, you may take on a business project, work at it for several years, and then suddenly find yourself totally disinterested. You know that if you stay with it for another few years, you will reap much greater financial reward than if you left the project now. But the project no longer calls you. You no longer feel interested in the project. You have developed skills over the last few years working on the project, but it hasn't yet come to fruition. You may wonder, now that you have the skills, should you stick with it and bring the project to fruition, even though the work feels empty to you? Well, maybe you should stick with it. Maybe you are bailing out too soon, afraid of success or failure, or just too lazy to persevere. This is one possibility. Ask your close men friends if they feel you are simply losing steam, wimping out, or afraid to bring your project to completion. If they feel you are bailing out too soon, stick with it. However, there is also the possibility that you have completed your karma in this area. It is possible that this was one layer of purpose which you have now fulfilled, on the way to another layer of purpose, closer to your deepest purpose. Among the signs of fulfilling or completing a layer of purpose are these. 1. You suddenly have no interest whatsoever in a project or mission that just previously motivated you highly. 2. You feel surprisingly free of any regrets whatsoever for starting the project or for ending it. 3. Even though you may not have the slightest idea what you are going to do next, you feel clear, unconfused, and especially unburdened. 4. You feel an increase in energy at the prospect of ceasing your involvement with the project. 5. The project seems almost silly, like collecting shoelaces or wallpapering your house with gas station receipts. Sure, you could do it, but why would you want to? If you experience these signs, it is probably time to stop working on this project. You must end your involvement impeccably. However, making sure that there are no loose ends and that you do not burden anybody's life by stopping your involvement. This might take some time, but it is important that this layer of your purpose ends cleanly and does not create any new karma or obligation that will burden you or others in the future. The next layer of your unfolding purpose may make itself clear immediately. More often, however, it does not. After completing one layer of purpose, you might not know what to do with your life. You know that the old project is over for you, but you are not sure of what is next. At this point, you must wait for a vision. There is no way to rush this process. You may need to get an intermediary job to hold you over until the next layer of purpose makes itself clear. Or perhaps you have enough money to simply wait. But in any case, it is important to open yourself to a vision of what is next. You stay open to a vision of your deeper purpose by not filling your time with distractions. Don't watch TV or play computer games. Don't go out drinking beer with your friends every night. or start dating a bunch of women. Simply wait. You may wish to go on a retreat in a remote area and be by yourself. Whatever it is you decide to do, consciously keep yourself open and available to receiving a vision of what is next. It will come. When it comes, it usually won't be a detailed vision. You will probably have a sense of what direction to move in, but the practical steps might not make themselves clear. When the impulse begins to arise, act on it. Don't wait for the details. Learn by trial and error what it is you are to do. For instance, perhaps you are a stockbroker and then finish that particular layer of purpose. You saved up some money, so now you are waiting for a vision of your next layer. After 3 weeks of going crazy, not knowing what you are going to do with your life, you begin to feel that you want to work with people. You begin to fantasize about using your financial skills to help people set up their own businesses. You have a few friends who have great intentions to save the world, but they are lousy businessmen and can't seem to get off the ground. So you call them and offer your help. As you help them, you continually feel for the groove of your purpose. You might have a few false starts, but eventually, you find that dozens of nonprofit groups are telephoning you, asking for your advice. It feels as if the universe is supporting you in this direction. You have no idea whether you can earn a living doing this, but it feels right for now. So apply yourself fully to it. You give your gift 100% without holding anything back. Soon, a wealthy man finds out about what you are doing. He admires your total commitment and your orientation to serve others. He becomes your patron. Now you are set. You have a good income and you are doing what you really want to do, and you are helping others. You love what you do, so you generate love in those who come in contact with you. Your life feels full. And then one day, a few years later, it is finished. This layer has dissolved, and the cycle begins again and again until you have penetrated all the layers into your deepest purpose. Then you act fully until that purpose too is dissolved in the bliss of the love that you are. Okay, that brings us to the end of chapters 11 and 12. And one of the things that I'm realizing, this is self-help, but this really is self-help for myself. It almost seems like this is an outward journal and a way for me to go through this information again and really start to apply it to my life. First time I read this book, I was feeling much the same way that I'm feeling now. This was like a few years ago, but it's good coming back into these lessons, discovering what your purpose is, and having that willingness to completely change things in your life. As I look back and I reflect on my life and the things that's been going on, I see how I have been shedding these layers and getting closer and closer to my true purpose. It's like an evolving thing. I've worked a number of jobs I didn't really care about. I'm working a job now that I'm not very passionate about at all, but it is paying the bills. But it is something to keep in mind that, this is a stepping stone. Now, a lot of those jobs that I've worked in the past, I've seen people who have been there for years, and I know that is not something that I want for myself. Maybe they haven't read this book or have this lesson of shedding things when they no longer serve you. But I have gained some great experiences from these jobs, and I know that's important. I've worked a lot of what you would call blue-collar jobs, doing things I never even thought about doing in the past. Just something new. There was a point in time when I was working for a staffing agency, and they sent me to work at this warehouse. And the job was unloading, I believe, 20-foot containers that were filled with bags of jasmine rice. I forgot where the rice came from, but your container opens up, You go in there and you throw the bags of rice, you build a pallet, and then somebody with a forklift had to come and take the pallet away for me. This is before I learned how to drive a forklift. And when I first started doing it, I remember it was hot. And so I went back to my car and to get some water. So as I'm walking back to my car, one of the guys see me. He's like, "Ah, yeah, you had enough. You quitting, huh?" And I was like, "No, I'm just getting some water." But I guess I had the look of someone who's not used to doing manual labor like that. But I did it. I did that for a while, and the person who was in charge of the staffing, he saw that I was coming to work consistently, doing the work. So he moved me on to something else, going to a different warehouse, but this time I was driving a EPJ, which is an electronic pallet jack. And in this warehouse, they held nothing but Hasbro toys. So, you meet up at the beginning of your shift. I was working the night shift, and they'll tell you some type of whatever they got planned for the night, areas they wanted us to focus on. But it was like being on the plantation, literally. You got this wide open warehouse with these different spaces filled with products, and you get a pick list. So you go to this site, you pick 10 of this. You go to this site, you pick 15 of this. And once you get an order completed, you take it, you wrap it, and the people who drove the clamp forklifts, they put it onto the truck. So I did that for a while until I was like, you know what, I'm tired of driving this EPJ. So because it was a night shift, you got away with certain things that I wouldn't have gotten away with on the day shift. So one day, instead of getting on the EPJ, the electronic pallet jack, I went and got on the clamp forklift and rolled up to the front and waited for the meeting to start. The meeting started. Nobody said anything to me. They didn't say, "Hey, you're not supposed to be on that." So I started driving the clamp forklift. I taught myself how to drive it. Now that could have been dangerous because there was one point where I almost ran into this pole, and instinctively, like, I put my hand out to like stop it. Forklifts are heavy as hell. There's no way my hand was going to stop that. Like, I could have hurt myself, but I did that, learned how to do that. And from there, I decided, I'm tired of working a night shift. Let me learn how to drive a regular forklift and see if I can get on with a different company. So it's been like that. I've been working these manual labor jobs and moving on to these different places. And now I find myself at a job where I'm working a lot of hours, but it's not serving me fully. Now I'm paying the bills, but it's not enough to give me everything that I need. So I'm in this point of shedding this layer and finding what my next purpose or my next adventure is going to be. And I'm glad I'm coming across this book again because it is something to remind myself that, going through this stuff, there are going to be some unknowns, but you have to keep going. And one thing that I like is that applying that lesson of staying consistent. I go to that job every day, but I do not consistently post on my YouTube or social media. So now the lesson is to apply that same consistency that I have in the job that I'm working now and apply that to what I'm doing as I discover deeper and deeper layers of my purpose. Men, if you're listening to this, I know this is something that we've all gone through. It's just a natural part of life. Something that we have to figure out because the path isn't laid out for us. And if you are one of the people who have a path that's laid out for you, you have to decide, well, is that the path that I want to be on? Because I had a path after college. I saw what I could do and the type of life that was going to lead me to. And I decided, no, I don't want to do that. Something in my spirit is telling me that I'm supposed to be doing something else. But it's been an adventure. What do you guys think? How has your journey been going through this process? I know sometimes it feels like, it's confusion. It's the unknown could be scary. You have responsibilities that you have to take care of, especially if you're a man. There's no safety nets for men. When things go wrong for us, if we can't meet our responsibilities, the street is waiting. But, you know, continue building your skills, continue learning, and continue putting yourself out there. And I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself. This is some self-talk as well. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Make sure you share this with someone that you think can use it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And thank you for tuning in.